Hello, in this video I'm going to share with you 10 common mistakes people make when overcoming anxiety. Although this channel is mainly about driving anxiety, this can apply to anxiety of any kind, whether it's a fear of flying, driving, public speaking, whatever it is. So let's get straight into this. The first mistake people make is they fight the anxiety. Have you ever been online and looked for help with this and you get told, fight the feelings, beat the feelings, conquer your fear? That stuff is all nonsense. One of the main things you have to understand about anxiety is that it's a defense system. It's your body and your mind's warning system that something is wrong. So why would you fight a warning system that is telling you something's wrong? Because if you do that, what do you think the warning system will do? Well, it's just going to fight back harder. It's a bit like when people wake up and their alarm clock's going off, so they just hide it under the pillow and then it starts getting louder and louder and louder. It's wanting to wake you up. It's a warning system that's built into all of us. So why would you fight it? People often think that anxiety is a bad thing. Well, it's not, because anxiety is a natural defense system. So stop fighting it, because the more you fight it, the worse it will get. You're just making the problem worse and worse. The second mistake people make is they work on symptoms. Now, I've spoken about this many times before, but driving anxiety has nothing to do with driving. A fear of flying has nothing to do with flying. That's only the way your problem is presenting. If you've got a cold, there's no point in just taping your mouth shut and saying, oh, I'll fix the cold. You don't work on the symptoms of sneezing and a runny nose. You work on the virus. That's the root cause of the problem. So please don't waste your time working on driving, flying, public speaking, or whatever it is, because that's not the issue. As we said before, it's a warning system. You need to find out what's building that warning system up, what's making it go wrong, what's making it fire up. You will not do that by working on symptoms. Talking about doing things, that leads us nicely into the third one, which is when people take therapy, they expect the therapy to do something. People often say, well, I did therapy and it didn't work. Right? Therapy does not work. It doesn't actually do anything in and of itself. The point of therapy is it allows you to find the cause of the problem, and it then brings up the feelings, they get released. And that's how therapy works, if you want to put it like that. So please don't be one of these people who just does therapy and say, well, I've done therapy and it didn't do anything. You're missing the whole point if that's what you do. It's like listening to a song and saying, well, yeah, so I've listened to it, now what do I do? The point of listening to the song was to make you feel happy. But you completely missed that, and you just spent all your time listening to it, but you didn't actually take away what the music was supposed to do for you. That is something I'll talk about in another video, because it's a bit confusing, I know. But please don't just say, well, I've done therapy and it didn't work. Talking about that, let's move on to point number 4, which is people do weird stuff in therapy and expect it to work. So I've known people who've thought that to get over anxiety, you've got to light a candle or lie down and have crystals placed on your body and all this weird stuff. Now, I use mainly hypnosis to help people overcome their fear of driving. And sometimes people say, well, isn't hypnosis weird and isn't that all strange, spooky stuff? No, and I'll give you an example of hypnosis right now. So I want you to focus on your left foot and just start to wiggle the toes on your left foot. Start to think about, is your foot feeling tired? Is it happy? Is it cold? Is it hot? Is it cramped? Is it relaxed? Now, the point of this is, a few seconds ago, before I started this, you were probably not thinking about your left foot, were you? But now you're very aware of your left foot and you're starting to think, oh, actually, yeah, it's a bit warm, it's a bit cold or whatever. And I want you now to focus on your right shoulder. Yeah, move your right shoulder around. How's that feeling? Is it hot, cold, tired, stressed, relaxed? So that's why hypnosis is. There's a bit more to it than that, but it's simply bringing your focus onto things, bringing your attention to various things. And the point of that is, your left foot was there to begin with, your right shoulder was there to begin with, but were you aware of them? Were you thinking about them? And notice how when you did think of them, you started to feel them when before you hadn't noticed it. That's all hypnosis is. It's, again, there is a bit more to it than that, but it's bringing your attention and focus to things you are not normally aware of, and then you can work on those things, and that releases your anxiety. Point number 5, the 5th mistake people make, is when they do therapy, they look for what we call aha moments. So people always want this big revelation, like in my videos I talk about finding a past memory that releases the problem, but people expect it to be magical and they're going to find this hidden memory and they start floating in the air and angels appear and start playing trumpets and there's a brass band starts marching past and they have this massive unconscious, subconscious release and they start crying and they hear heavenly music playing in the background. Some people expect this massive breakthrough moment when bang, it all changes and everything happens. Yes, that can happen, but it very often won't. There very often, in probably 90% of cases I work in, there's not this massive moment because it's an accumulation of moments that build up. It's not just this one massive release, although it can be. The 6th thing that people get wrong is they expect someone else to fix their problem for them. Please understand that the only person in the world who can fix your problem is you. If you go for therapy, the therapist's job is not to fix the problem for you. It's to work with you and to help you uncover things in your mind that you can use to fix your problem. If you expect someone else to fix it for you, you're never going to get a result, because how could I fix your problem? It's like I mentioned before about expecting therapy to do something. It doesn't do anything other than help you find what the cause of your problem is. The 7th thing people do wrong is they look for a free fix online. Back in the days of the 80s and the 90s, people, when they had a problem, would go and see someone, or they'd ask for help, or they'd go somewhere, and they'd get help, and they'd fix the problem. Nowadays, we live in this world where so many people just expect to go online, type a few words into the internet, and there it is, the first thing that comes up, oh, there you go, that's how you do it. And if you search for things like how to overcome anxiety, you'll often read things like fight the anxiety, beat the feelings, conquer your fear. And people close the phone, oh, there you go, that's how you do it, I've got to fight the feelings. Right, stop looking for these free fixes online. If you want to fix your anxiety properly, be prepared to need to find an expert and work with them and actually pay for their time and the years they've spent building their knowledge and expertise. Don't go looking for free, gimmicky fixes online. The 8th mistake people make is going to a generalist. So this is when you go to see a therapist who is just a generalist who does everything. They will help with weight loss, fear of flying, fear of driving, insomnia, pain control. They have this huge menu on the website of everything that they do, and they don't actually know how to do any of it. People sometimes ask me, why should I come to you? Why should I see you when I can go and do it much cheaper with this person just round the corner from me? Because they're probably not an expert in driving anxiety like I am. I've got over 20 years of experience as a driving instructor and over 5 years of experience as a hypnotherapist. So I know lots about driving anxiety. And when I'm doing a session Very often, it's the little things I do and don't do that make all the difference. So you might be starting to say one certain thing, and I can spot that, and I think, oh no, that's not the way to go. And through my knowledge of working with hundreds of people all over the world with driving anxiety, I know the little things to do to nudge you back on track so you can find a solution. If I was working, for example, with someone who's smoking and I didn't know those things, I wouldn't be able to do it as well. And I've done another video, I'll link in the description, all about that. The 9th mistake people make is using logic to fix anxiety. You will not fix anxiety with logic because anxiety lives in your subconscious and logic comes from the conscious. This is where so many people go wrong, and it's really going back to the first 2 points in this video. People say things like, well, if I've got a fear of driving, I'm just going to force my way through. That is not how you fix it. It's nothing to do with logic. It's not about exposure therapy and forcing yourself through it. Those are all logical things. And if you think that that's going to fix it, you are miles away from fixing it. You're not even close to it, and you'll never do it with logic. The only way logic can lead to the solution is sometimes people say things that don't add up. So they'll say 2 contradictory statements, and when you put them together, the illogic of their logic then leads to something else. And the 10th mistake that people make is expecting to get rid of all anxiety. You need to understand that everyone has anxiety. It's just a case of how high or low it is. Every human being born has anxiety. We all have some kind of fear, phobia. And if people say, oh, I haven't, there's nothing I'm scared of, there is. And the funny thing is, do you know what it is when people say things like that? People who say that are often scared of being wrong or looking weak. We all have anxieties, fears, phobias. No one is superhuman. We all have these things. It's just a matter of how much we have them. So you can't get rid of anxiety. You don't completely beat it. You reduce it. So when I work with clients, I will often ask them, out of 10, if 10 is the worst and 0 is none, what number is your anxiety at now? Most people will say 8, 9, 10. Then at the end of the session, you ask them and they'll say, oh, it's a 1 or a 2. That's what you want. And sometimes people say, oh, it needs to be 0. You can't have 0 anxiety. I have anxiety when I drive to some degree, but it's only 1 or 2 out of 10, not like a full-on panic attack like people with the fear of driving will have. Watch these videos of mine on the screen now to learn more about anxiety, and if you want to work with me one-to-one online from anywhere in the world, contact me through my website, firstdrive.com. Thanks for watching, and as always, I'll see you again soon for more videos.